Well, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. All right, so tomorrow by 4 o'clock, all the NFL teams have to be cut down to 53-man rosters, in which case everybody is now open season for people to go ahead and try and, pull them and get players and things like that on there. And when you look at, say, the Cowboys, where we have actually a lot of receivers that are actually pretty good, teams are going to be looking around and saying, you know what, I'd like to get this guy and that guy. So when you have a guy like Semi, you can't put him, you don't want to cut him and try and bring him back to the practice squad because somebody else may pick him up and then you lose out on him. Now, here's what's kind of cool. The Cowboys have a little bit of an advantage here, okay? Now, not everybody that you have on this roster right now are going to be guys that you want to bring back or you think they're going to be able to play valuable minutes. But there's some guys out there you look at and say, they may not be ready to play right now, but there's somebody that I want to keep in to my fold so I can try and develop them for the future. You follow what I'm saying here? You think about, say, Rondel Carter. Rondel showed really, really well in the preseason game, this past week against the Jags. But you look at it and you say, I can only keep so many defensive linemen and edge rushers. But I don't want to give up on the guy. They actually had him last year. They ended up, somebody else picked him up. They were fortunate to bring him back in the fold. So you don't have, somebody may want him, but you want him too. So here's what's kind of interesting here. Technically, the Cowboys have a 57-man roster at the moment. You're saying, are you crazy or just plain stupid? Here's the thing. Excuse me. Sorry. I had to sneeze. Here's the thing. Here's the slight advantage that the Cowboys have right now. And they may not be in a rush necessarily to bring the guys back off of COVID. You're going, what you talking about, Mark? Here's the thing. The players that are out on COVID don't count as players on your roster or your 53. Follow me there? Let's say, CeeDee Lamb, that he kind of hasn't quite tested positive yet to get back to practice. Let's say it's not till later on this week. Tomorrow's cutdown day. You could hold on to 4 players until those guys come back a little bit longer. Let's say that Tuesday comes through 4 o'clock and all those players are released, and now everybody's going through and they're grabbing this player and that player and all that, and then after a day or so, the dust clears, it slows down. That guy that they thought they were going to be able to grab, they got it, or they just spent the money for it, or they filled the roster spot. So now, let's say CeeDee Lamb and crew aren't back yet. You could say Rondel Carter is part of your 53-man roster for now, which is giving you a bit of extra time to hold on to him without worrying about losing it. Then the dust clears. All the other teams have made their moves. They've got their players. They filled out the rosters after the cuts and stuff. And now there's less chance of losing those guys. Then as your other guys come back, well then, okay, we got to put them on the waiver wire and hope that nobody gets it. It may be subtle, but it helps with building and holding on to talent on your team. And this is one of those things that timing is everything, because, having those guys right now is an advantage. It's not going to be an advantage to have those guys out on COVID when the games start. But because we have extra time before the first game, we have 10 days. You could end up saying, you know what? You're just getting a couple extra days of rest before the grind of next week. Now, we can hold on to these players. And I think that that's actually a way that the Cowboys got a little bit of an advantage. I'm going to go into my roster cuts a little bit later on this morning or early afternoon. I've got to get these cabinets that I'm working on here together. At least get the face frames on so that way they can dry, and then I can sand them and be done with these things by Wednesday. One other thing that's interesting, let me turn these tools down.
Mark Jackson, Vance Johnson, Ricky Nattil, all the guys would stand up, and if I did something good, they'd be cheering on the sideline. I scored a touchdown against the 49ers.
One more thing that's interesting that came out this morning is Nick Foles. The Bears say they will listen to offers for Nick Foles. They won't trade him to someplace he doesn't want to go. But if they get an offer and he agrees with it, they have no problem with trading him to whomever. Now, here's the interesting point, because there's been so much speculation about the Eagles and Deshaun Watson. The Eagles, of course, have been coveting the idea of Deshaun Watson, especially after his legal issues are done. And, we've heard my man Philly 500 talking about Deshaun Watson. Well, Deshaun Watson has a no-trade clause in his contract, and apparently has said that he will not waive it to go to the Eagles, which I kind of find kind of funny. The fact that you are in a place that you absolutely positively hate. You said you will never play another play in Houston. You want to be gone. Yet, all those reasons still aren't enough for you to say, I'll go to Philadelphia. Yeah. That's interesting. That's all I got to say is, literally, you know what? Things are bad here in Houston. They're really bad here in Houston. But they ain't as bad as it might be with the Eagles. So since the Eagles are that football factory, that I believe that they don't believe in Hurts being the answer. Whether he is or isn't, the Eagles have literally undermined him the same way they did Carson Wentz. You pulled him from a game to end the season that they had a chance of winning. You then bring in a veteran quarterback, Nick Foles. Then you go through and you trade for another guy, Gardner Minshew. And then you've got rumors where you want Deshaun Watson. If you're looking at him, it's kind of like, they don't really want me. I mean, just imagine if you and your wife or you and your girlfriend, if you're out there saying, I'm going to bring this other woman over in here. I really like her. She's kind of cute. You think that would work out very well? You think your wife would be okay with that? You think your wife or girlfriend would really want to, keep being your wife and girlfriend? I can guarantee you that there's going to be some pots and pans flying your way. All right, y'all, I got more work to do. Hope you're having a great day. Peace.
Cowboys aren't the only Cowboys.
Do you think that New England was a good team last year?
Being honest, the Cowboys should win the division. They have the better quarterback and probably better offense than every other team. But you don't know about Washington. I don't like their quarterback play. But I don't think that any of them are that good. Dak with his shoulder.
Did he just say the Cowboys win the division?
This division. I don't think they're going to Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to NFC Championship game. But I think they could get to the first round of playoffs. First three, yeah. Sean Fitzpatrick, absolutely. Yes.
Uh-oh, that might be the kiss of death.
June 2nd, man. That's cool. June 2nd, man. Shout out to you.